All right. Let's go to the theater and see the 21st Michigan Regiment Infantry flag. It's been fully restored, everybody. That's what we're back here for. It was the original flag. It was gifted to the Ionia courthouse by the granddaughters of the Republic, GAR, I think. And it's been in the courthouse for 160 years.
That's Elvis Presley.
They just got it back
Is that Elvis Presley?
from North Carolina after being restored for 8 months. And today it's making its second homecoming.
That's
That is local history. That's unbelievable.
I stood for when I joined the military was my belief in what we have in Ionia County, the beauty that it is. And you know, 163 years ago, when first volunteers stepped up, that was why, because of what we have here in this wonderful place. So, just a little introduction on the flag. It's been at the courthouse for 100 years, and in the 60s it was patched up. What you're seeing here is every piece of fabric that is on here flew in battle. So they took out the patchings that we had in there and made it look original. We are in the process of getting a replica remade that'll go next to it. That will be the full thing, but this is what actually flew in battle. And, you know, it traversed, most of the country. I was at 8 engagements throughout the states, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Georgia. And Ionia County was the muster point back then for these volunteers out of 18 neighboring counties in mid-Michigan. So the train depot opened here in 1859 in Ionia, and it made a perfect vantage point for them to ship out of here to go to Cincinnati. So the 21st Infantry was one of the first groups into battle, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because Eric's got more of that. But welcome to Ionia, and I hope that anyone seeing this, you know, for future to come generations, children can get an understanding of what it was to serve for the country and to be just the history of this flag. So thank you, everyone, and without further ado, Eric back.
Yeah.
Mike's a little tall. Yeah, I just want to piggyback that and say thanks for coming, and I want to recognize some of our special guests. We have the VFW State Commander, Reinhold Bianca. I want to thank him for coming and showing up. We have our State Rep, Gina Johnson. Thank you very much for coming today. We also have the former Lieutenant Governor, my brother Brian Callis down here, so thanks for coming. It's amazing that 2 years ago, I was sitting in my club and Shane walked in and he gave a presentation on a Civil War battle flag that's been hanging in our courthouse for the last 159 years. And he said, well, we need to do something about this to preserve it the right way. Do you think that we could create a team and get this task done? And I looked at him and I was like, mission accepted. It's probably one of the most proudful things I've ever done in my life. Not only having a little footprint into the legacy of the 21st Regiment, but as Chad was saying, 18 different counties showed up in Ionia County in 1861 to form the 21st Regiment for the state of Michigan. And so in the Civil War, over 600,000 Americans died. You know, it was the North for the South. This is where our freedoms started. This is where our freedoms came from. The abolishment of slavery was one of the major attachments to the Civil War. And who knows if the South would have won what America would be today. And so Michigan had a great honor when serving our country in all of our battles from the Civil War to present. But in our Civil War, over 1,000 guys mustered up here in Ionia. And out of that 600,000 that died, over 300 of them were from Ionia and 17 surrounding counties. And so you might notice that the flag is a little bit different, but that's to keep in with the honor and integrity of the actual pieces that flown into battle. So this is a museum quality piece which Matt will talk about here after I'm done. But I was so honored to be a part of this. And the fact that we did it in 2 years was a major feat. You know, to raise almost $60,000 getting preserved and restored. And now we have a finished museum piece that will hang in our Ionia County Courthouse for generations to come. Not only to teach our younger generations about the past and what Michiganders have done for our country, but to keep with the legacy of the guys that served so valiantly, many of them maybe even fighting their cousins down south. You know, if you think about it, in 1861, those individuals probably have never left the state of Michigan. You know, they had trains, they had horseback, but it's not like we travel today. And for them to go all the way down to South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, and then on the way back to stop in Washington, D.C., and then make it back to Michigan, July 4th, 1865, they decided to award this flag, 4 out of the 5, back to Ionia County to not only be the stewards of this flag, but to make sure Ionia knew about its history and the importance of what our Michiganders did for the Civil War. And so it's a great honor to not only preserve this, but to keep that hanging in Ionia County for those younger generations to learn about. And so we keep with the stride of the patriotism and Americanism that we so love and hold dear to our hearts. And so without further ado, I'd like to recognize my partner in crime, Shane Houghton. Without Shane's due diligence in bringing this to attention, this might not have ever happened. And so, Shane, great honor. Come on up.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. I'm so happy. Yeah. So proud of being able to take a part in this also. And so happy that Eric come on board when he did. There's so many people to thank, and too many to thank without missing somebody, but there's a few that I want to thank, and I thank Eric for all you did, Joni for your wanted media, stuff like that, Tim for the flag, state flag program with his expertise and stuff like that, and there's so many more. So anyway, I'm honored to have the opportunity to be part of our saving our historic flag, not only for our generations of Ionians, but for many generations to come. Our flag started its journey when it was carried off to war in September of 1862. Our forefathers proudly carried the flag through many battles where the 21st suffered many casualties. Traveling over 3,000 miles, part of Sherman's march to the sea. After the war, despite orders to turn all the flags into the state, the 21st felt our special flag deserved a different fate. So on July 4th, our Independence Day, they returned it to the people of Ionia. Our flag has been proudly presented to the people of Ionia. That was his first homecoming. That was part of our forefathers and mothers' 160 years stewardship, protecting and honoring the flag and the ideas it stood for. Now in 2025, after 160 years and another 1,200 miles, and some extensive preservations, we celebrate its second homecoming here today. Our flag will soon be back in a place of honor where it will serve to remind us of our historic past and be a source of our pride for all of us. Helping us to remember what it stands for, honoring those who gave their all, those who suffered in many ways during the war, helping preserve our great nation, taking part in ending slavery. It is altogether fitting and proper that we continue this stewardship. I have no doubt that what we have done here to protect our flag will protect it for another 160 years. I also have no doubt that when the time comes, another group of historic-minded citizens will step forward to continue to protect and preserve our precious flags for future generations to come. Thank you so much. Now I have the honor to introduce our VFW Department Commander,
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Reinhold Bianca, the State Commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars here in the Department of Michigan. It is an honor to stand before you today as we gather to unveil this beautifully restored flag. This flag of the 21st Michigan Regiment Civil War is more than a piece of fabric. It is a symbol of our shared history, the struggles we have overcome, and the values we hold dear as a community. The flag was hand-embroidered and gifted in 1862 by the ladies of Ionia, mothers, wives, sisters, and daughters of the soldiers of the 21st Infantry Regiment, which comprised of 2,423 men from 18 Michigan counties. The flag accompanied the regiment through 8 major battles, including Sherman's march through Kentucky, Georgia, and North Carolina. The regiment lost 377 men to battle and disease, with many more returning home with injuries. The restoration of this flag is not just about preserving an artifact from our past. It is about renewing our commitment to ideals it represents: unity, resilience, and pride. For generations, this flag has witnessed countless moments, both joyful and challenging, that have shaped the character of our community. Its colors and threads carry the stories of those who came before us, and today we add our own chapter to its legacy. The dedication and care that went into restoring this flag reflect the passion and spirit of our people. It reminds us that when we come together, each offering our unique talents and perspectives, we can accomplish remarkable things. The flag's return to its rightful place is a testament to our respect for history and our hope for the future. As we look upon this flag, may it inspire us to continue working together, supporting one another, and cherishing the bonds that unite us. May it serve as a daily reminder of the strength we find in our shared identity and the importance of preserving the values and stories that make our community unique. Thank you to Shane Houghton from VFW Post 12082, Ionia, and Eric Calley from VFW Post 4646, Muir, who have led the coalition to raise funds for the flag's restoration, aiming to preserve its legacy for future generations. Thank you to everyone who made this restoration possible. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this meaningful occasion. Let us move forward together, guided by the enduring spirit embodied in this restored flag. Thank you. Michigan's Director, Curator of Safe Flags.
I tell you, the boys in blue hated speechifying. That's what they called it. But these remarks are so important for us to make. It's been such an honor and a privilege to be a part of this project and to help in a very small way in having the right thing done for this beautiful banner. The 1860 census of the great state of Michigan reported her population to be approximately 750,000 souls. 5 years later, by the spring of 1865, the old peninsular state had sent over 90,000 of her father's sons and brothers to the horrific and bloody battlefields of the Great American Civil War. This constituted, we believe, well over 50% of her eligible male population, and on a per capita basis was among the largest contributions of any of the northern states. Before leaving for the field of battle, these regiments were presented with beautiful silken flags. Typically, they would receive what was referred to as a stand of colors: the United States flag, Old Glory, as we all recognize the red, white, and blue colors, and also a regimental, which was typically a dark blue flag emblazoned with the federal coat of arms, or perhaps the state coat of arms, as you see here with the flag of the 21st Michigan. This is their regimental. The flags quite often were presented to the regiments by the very ladies of the communities where they're formed in grand ceremonies. In September of 1862, the ladies of Ionia proudly presented the newly formed 21st Michigan Infantry Regiment with a truly outstanding battle flag. 4 of the 10 100-men companies formed right here in Ionia County. The flag, quote, is a splendid article, unquote, claimed one news account. Another claimed, and old veterans who have been through all the battles of the campaign state that not a regiment in the service has such a costly and superb flag, end quote. It was no exaggeration. A lady in New York had labored for 3 months to hand embroider an American flag and eagle on the banner. The eagle clutched the ribbon, and its claws emblazoned with the words Union and Constitution. That says it all, does it not? The flag cost the princely sum of $225. As you've heard, the regiment carried their prize to Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina. The 21st fought not only as infantry, but also served as an engineer troops, building bridges and field hospitals, and destroying enemy railroads, making the Sherman bow ties that were so famous of the Confederate railroads. And their much beloved flag was there with them through it all. The flag stood for everything the men were fighting for country, community of Ionia, family, and the Union. Civil War regiments and companies were organized in very specific areas of the state within the 6 congressional districts. The men who served in these companies and regiments knew each other. They were schoolmates, they were playmates, they were men that they had worked with in the factories and farms in Ionia. They were familial relations, they were family members. It was not uncommon to have fathers, grandfathers, sons, grandsons, uncles, nephews, cousins serving alongside one another in the companies. The flags the soldiers bore in the battle, presented to them by their communities, were a tangible, a very tangible link to their communities and to home and to Michigan. And they also served as a daily reminder of those homes and the cause for which they fought and sadly died. The flags were also a very practical tool on the field of battle. The flags stood as markers for the men. They knew and could instantly recognize their colors. Through the dust, smoke, and confusion of battle, the men could spot their flags and follow them, whether in advance or retreat. When the color bearer planted the staff in the ground, all the men of the regiment knew that was a signal to them they should fight to the very last man to defend their beloved battle flag and their position on the battlefield. And the honor of carrying that flag went not only to the tallest men of the regiment, but to those of the highest moral character. Now the Confederate soldiers recognized the importance of these flags, as we did the Confederate banners, and the importance of capturing them, or even killing the man who was carrying the colors. Being a flag bearer was an incredible honor that came with an almost unfathomable price, basically a sentence of death. And yet the men clamored for the opportunity and the honor of carrying their beloved regimental banners, including this flag. The flags, understandably, show the scars of their use, as is obviously the case with this flag. Upon their return to Michigan from the fields of combat at the end of the war, I want to share a quote with you from another regiment, the men of Company E, which formed in my hometown of Lansing, the 8th Michigan. When they came home, were addressed by their commander, Captain John Elder of Lansing. Elder addressed his men with these words, quote, "After 4 years of war, carnage, and bloodshed, you a few are permitted to return to your respective homes, there to enjoy that peaceful bliss which none but a soldier can fully appreciate." You veterans can appreciate these words more than most. By your patriotic devotion, you have obliterated every vestige of that cursed institution, slavery. You left your homes, your firesides, your wives, your families, and those most dear and near to you, and you volunteered. Well have you done duty. There are but few among you whose persons do not show the marks of rebel missiles. Let those scars be an honor to you. And let it be so with this tattered and honored flag. While it does not look like the flag that in a well-meaning gesture was made to look new again in the 1960s as it hung in the courthouse, it has now been returned to its original glory. Not pristine and like new, but preserved as it was when it first returned to this community in 1865. I'd like to share with you just a few quotes from some other flags in our collection at the Capitol, at the State Museum. Every quote that I speak of, though, goes to speak of this flag also. This is from the 3rd Cavalry. When you return, bring the flag with you. It may be like yourselves, war-worn and battle-scarred, but every shred will be sacred. In the 3rd Infantry, quote, but the banner, how changed from its once neat and artistic, and ample, supple and shining folds, grape and canister shot in the strife of battle have soiled its fair proportions. 4th Infantry, quote, there is the flag. It is as mute as the grave, but it tells whether the oath taken was supplanted by deeds. Quote, oh, the dreadful fields of battle over which it is waved. Oh, the gallant souls that have poured out their life's blood beneath its folds. Its pitiful tatters indicate the number, but they do not tell the names. But those names are embalmed in our memory and shall never be forgotten. This is the flag that the boys of Ionia would recognize. The boys who shed their blood upon it would know it and recognize it in a heartbeat. Let its scars be an honor to you, the community of Ionia, and to the boys who shed their life's blood upon it. You have done them a great service by caring for their beloved flag. Be proud of the work you have done, Ionia. On behalf of the people of the great state of Michigan, thank you for preserving this flag, and in so doing, preserving the memory of those boys in blue. Thank you.
How wonderful to be together today. To actually still have our Ionia intact, our state intact, our country still standing. No light matter, veterans, huh? You fought for this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank God for Michigan. Why in the world did Lincoln say that? Why is there a book written called Thank God for Michigan? We need to tell our youth, our young people. Michigan has contributed greatly to why this country still stands. And with all of our problems and all of our challenges, Michigan has fought. There's been tremendous bloodshed, as was shared, to make sure we still stand. We have a wonderful heritage. We're not just one of the 50 states. We're not just Americans, we're from Michigan, and Ionia played the biggest role in the Civil War. We are grateful to those who shed their blood before us, the families who gave it all, the women who took the time to make a flag. I think sometimes we don't even realize the importance of a flag. It's staking your identity. We're here, the Star-Spangled Banner. What is that about? The flag. The flag still stands. The emblem that we're still living, breathing, fighting. And fighting for what? Fighting, pushing against evil, and fighting for those who may not be able to speak for themselves. The slaves lost their voice, while Michigan stood for the black man, for the black family. Right? Black men and women in Michigan had rights in this state long before other states had given them the right to vote if they owned land, which was the same standard for a white man. We have so much to be grateful for, so much to be proud of, and so much to tell our kids, you have an identity as a person from Michigan. You need to hold it up. You need to bring it forward. You need to tell your fellow kids at school, we've got something to stand up for, to be proud of, and to fight for also. That's the future of Michigan. Thank God for Michigan. Thank God for this country. And I hope this is the beginning of many more gatherings where we celebrate the flag, we celebrate our beautiful history. We celebrate the good things, we correct the things that are still not right. And we move forward together. Thank you.
Johnson. That was a great speech. I just want to thank everybody for coming here today. This ends our program today. Can't wait until the flag gets put in its place of honor at the courthouse, and we can all see it and honor it whenever you want to. Thanks again.
Michiganers did for the Civil War. I mean, preserving that legacy is what a veteran is, what a veteran stands for, and being able to be a little part of that footprint.
Wonderful to see this thing restored. So if you didn't hear, all the gray parts are where the patches were when they restored it in the 50s. They brought it back to what it came back to Ionia as. So there's no thread there, but that's because that's what it looked like when it came back. It really saved it. And this is our historic Ionia Theater. Wonderful ceremony. All right. I know you guys are disappointed, but do you want to go? Huh? Yeah. Oh, stop, Kevin. News 10 tonight?
Yep, News 10 tonight.